Try to unionize, we'll send you to your guy. Running for company, paramilitary. You might think it's scary, but bananas ain't free. Chiquita Death Squad, we're gonna get ya. Chiquita Death Squad, coming for ya. Just one court case will never stop us all. Just can't beat the pay from the capital cabal. We're the fascist party, paramilitary. Might think it's overly freaky, but food don't come cheap. Chiquita Death Squad, we're gonna get ya. Chiquita Death Squad, coming for ya. Chiquita Death Squad, we're gonna get ya. Chiquita Death Squad, coming for ya.
How do you think we get those bananas from the south to your shelf every time of year? Kill the leftists soon as they get elected. They try to do some bitch-ass plan reform like a bunch of queers. You need fiber, so we'll leave no survivors. If that's what it takes to get bananas all the way to Europe and America, Australia, China, the global north of empire, a blood-sucking vampire back.
Chiquita Death Squad, we're gonna get ya. Chiquita Death Squad, coming for ya. Chiquita Death Squad, we're gonna get ya. Chiquita Death Squad, coming for ya. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Did it make sense not to live for fun? Your brain gets smart but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to say. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You never know if you don't go. You never shine if you don't glow. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold.
Go for the moon. Go for the moon. Go for the moon. Go for the moon.
All around the world. time I look around, every time I look around, ooh, baby, it's making me crazy. Every time I look around, every time I look around, no time to search the world around, 'cause you know where I'll be found when I come around. When I come around, it's good. When I come around, it's good. When I come around, it's good. I smell sex and candy here. Who's that lounging in my chair? Who's that casting devious stares in my direction? Mama, this surely is a dream. Yeah. Oh, mama, this surely is a dream. Dig it. Yeah, mama, this surely is closing time. One last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I saw the sign. Open up my eyes, I saw the sign. Life is demanding without understanding. I saw the sign. And it opened up my eyes.
Hello. We're doing it. Where am I? Hello. I'm back. This is my 90s mega mixtape. This is a 90s medley of 90s songs. It's a medley of 90s songs that I put together when I was in a cover band a few years ago. And we were going to record it, but we never got around to it. So I did it myself. And here it is. Hope you like it. It's from my second channel, Joe Messina. That's me. It's funny. Oh, hey. Rajalama. The person so nice, they named them twice. Thanks for following. That's too bright. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, I was just mentioning my second channel. My second channel is the one that's just my name because, excuse me. Back when I made a lot of my accounts on this here internet, I was pursuing stand-up comedy. And so I was, when you're a stand-up comic or a musician, I guess too, in a lot of senses, but you put your name out there. You put your full ass name, right? Because you're like, look at me. I want to be known for my name and lights. But that's why I am not as anonymous as some streamers who don't go by their real names or YouTubers. Because I was a little performer demon. So that's what that's about. But yeah, that's my second channel, Joe Messina. I don't know if I'll rename it Joe Messina Music or something, but oh my god, what? But yeah, at Joe Messina 4042 is the fucking thingy. And yeah, I have some I was gonna say my non-political music, but that's not true. Because Because yeah, you'll find some of my uh, you'll find some of my um, music on Radicalize Me on my main channel. But I have some here too. This is, back in 2016. This was I was doing stand up about the election, and then I started writing songs about Santa's elves doing a socialist revolution. Um, but anyway, yeah, that's that. And then we come over here to my main channel, Radicalize Me. And you might notice something here. 1K, baby. We're 1K Andy. How about that? Huh? Only took 4 years. No, I've gone through different periods of like, um, upload frequency and that kind of shit. But yeah, we've upped our game a little bit over the past couple of years, and it's paid off. There it is. No, I mean it hasn't paid yet. That haven't qualified for that yet. But the first qualification is to get to 1K. Now we just need more public watch hours, which I still don't really understand what that is. It's like not all the time that people spend watching your videos counts as public watch hours. It's like a whole fucking thing. I don't know. But anyway, we're like halfway there with that. And it's got to be like 3,000 public watch hours in the past year or something. So I don't fucking know. Just go watch shit on my channel. That's all you need to worry about. Oh, that's me. Okay. All right. So I want to get into some shit. But first, why don't we do this? Let's go and share the stream. Twitter. And Twitch. Twitter and Twitcher and Schmisher and Bisher and Bipblue and Blooplow and Schmishmash and Weeshmosh. All right, there we are. We're sharing. All right, copy. All right, we're live now. Talking socialism and rotating villains. And Trump on Rogan. Little exclamation for the kiddos. All right, we got that. Go over to the book, as no one calls it. The Facebook, we used to call it back in the day. I think I was actually I got on Facebook probably right after they stopped calling it the Facebook, which is what was it? Yeah. Like I was part of like probably the first wave of high schoolers who could get on Facebook. So still old, make no mistake. But yeah, I it was after the Facebook, you know, you know, you know, and that just makes me think of the Batman. It's funny because the fucking Robert Pattinson Batman movies are the Batman, but the Batman was also what they called Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy before the name cemented, where it's like, uh, the Joker would like mockingly call him the Batman. Because that always has to be like, I don't know if it's consistent with like older iterations of superhero stories. I was never that into most of them, but like it seems to be a very common like modern trope where they have to do this thing where like where no one quite knows what to call them yet. It's just like, yeah, no, he like Bruce Wayne didn't think to be called Batman or the Batman. He just was like, I'm gonna dress like a bat guy and go fight people. There we go. And then it's up to the audience. It's up to the public of Gotham to fucking name him. And it's funny. It's the same era. I've gotten really into Green Arrow lately, who's another DC superhero. But he's like actually cool because he's like leftist. He like goes. He is a billionaire, but he's a class trader, and does lose his money usually at some part. That's like one of the modern tropes, at least of Green Arrow, is he loses all his money at some point. But yeah, he's a class trader. He goes after other billionaires and capitalists and landlords and shit. But with that too, I was watching the there was a CW show about Green Arrow. That was around the same time as the Dark Knight trilogy. It started in 2012. And look, make no mistake, it's a CW show. It's an American television show. So like it's never as lefty as the comics. And of course, after season 1, it kind of just becomes propaganda, Batman-esque, but he's very Batman coded anyway. But like, someone pointed out recently, actually, they're like, that was basically a Batman show that they just like put Green Arrow paint on. And I was like, yeah, okay. But I'm working on a video about the first season, where I think the spirit is there at least. But yeah, I was saying in that one too, they go through calling him all these different fucking. First of all, the show is called Arrow, right? So it can't be, it can't just be a show called Green Arrow. No, because especially back then, it was like everything was like Arrow, fucking Dark Knight. Everything was like a gritty reboot. Yeah, that. Yeah, but the thing with the name in Arrow, they go, they don't even call him Arrow at first. He's like the Hood, or then becomes a little later the Vigilante, because that's what superheroes are, I guess. So, like, the people of this world are like, oh, there's this vigilante in a hood going around. And then sometimes they call him the Hood. Then they start calling him the Arrow. And then there's a scene where someone's like, maybe we should call him the Green Arrow because his arrows are green. And the and Oliver Queen, his secret identity goes, no, that's lame. Like, because they're just like, oh, of course, okay, we got to have this moment. We're like, but what about? It was like, no, we're not gonna do that. And then it's finally in like season 4 they call him Green Arrow. It's really stupid, but that's just how it goes. Yeah. So I want to talk about the rotating villain concept, which is not about superheroes and super villains. Let me pull this up. So, oh, sorry, I just came across something really cringe. Someone from one of my Marxist reading groups just sent this. National Men's March to abolish abortion and rally for personhood. For who? For the fetuses or for the men? Because one of those, not a person. The other, already a person. I'll let you decide which. Boston, MA, November 16th, 11 a.m. We call on all pro-life people to come and unite. 11 a.m. All gather outside Planned Parenthood. Oh, great. For opening prayers and speakers. That's 1055 Commonwealth Ave in Boston. Someone sent this in the group chat and said, is there any counter protest happening? So, if you'd like to do one, that's where to go. Opening prayers and speakers. Oh my God. They're just going to be fucking like harassing teenagers going in to like get pap smears and shit. Like, oh my God. 11:30 a.m. Begin march to Parkman Bandstand in Boston Common. 3.2 mile march. Well, at least they're getting out there. At least they're moving the bodies. Hey, why don't you invite the fetuses? Why did you invite the fetuses on the 3.2 mile march? What? I thought they had personhood. What? They can't survive on their own outside of a body? They can't walk and ambulate? Be mobile? I don't know. Not that if you can't walk, you're not a person. I'm not trying to be ableist. But like, God, it's so fun. It's like, yeah, what? Oh, who's going to be there praying and speaking? Who's uniting? Is it men or is it fetuses? Oh, it's men? It's living full men? Interesting how that fucking works. We're voice for the voiceless. It's like, but they're literally voiceless. Like you're not saying like, oh, it's you know, full living, breathing, like disabled people, or, you know, people with like Down syndrome who are not vocal or whatever. Like, uh, you're not talking about like, you know, like people of Gaza who or who, you know, don't have a voice right now because they've been, um, you know, cut off from the world. It's like, well, yeah, but we give them a voice because they're people. Like they are people, and if they were able to, you know, if they weren't being cut off, we'd be able to hear them. But like, go to a fetus right now. Go to a fetus. Discern what a fetus wants in the moment, in general, long term. Get me some idea of like a want or need that that a fetus has, that it expresses itself. Can't fucking do it. All right. All right, let me find this. This thing I was just looking at. Okay, can turn that off. See if I can find this fucking post. I'll give this person a follow. An arrow ace autistic firmly in favor of nuking Silicon Valley from orbit because it's the only way to be sure. Proud member of the dissatisfied left. Cool. But yeah, there was oh, okay. There was a reply they had to something that I wanted to look at, but I do just want to point this out because I just saw this in passing. So this is the famous poem Martin Niemöller. Maybe you've heard this in you know, any like school lesson about the Holocaust. This probably came up at some point. First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Now, this is the thing that people forget about this poem, because everyone knows it. Fucking everyone knows it, especially like my age and above. Okay, like 30 and above, 35 and above, and you know, you got like a millennial Gen X boomer education. You fucking learned this goddamn poem, and maybe after too. I just don't know. I'm old, but like everyone knows this poem, but no one fucking understands what it means. Okay, so first of all, the end of it tells you a lot, right? I mean, you know, important to point out, like, then they came for the Jews, and because it's like that's the part where everyone started to notice, and it's like, okay, well, no one noticed all of this, and we'll get to that in a second. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me, right? So that's the thing. When people tell you to ignore Gaza and to ignore the Congo and to ignore Lebanon and all this shit, it's like, okay, man, like, well, is anyone going to do anything when they come for us? Because, like, they could and will come for any of us. Like, this is not shit that just stays in one place. And then, you know, after the first they came for the communists and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. The next line is not, and then everything was cool. They got the communists who were too extreme, and now now we're all moderates and liberal Democrats, and it's fine. We're all good. Everybody's happy. We've got liberal bourgeois democracy, and everything's good. No fascists, no nothing. All right, but this person nails it. Crucial and often overlooked or even physically removed in various quotes. Yep, true. Part is, first they came for the communists. Fascists and Nazis know well who is the only dangerous resistance. And that's true. And you can go and fucking check this, that the only real resistance to the Nazis in Germany, when they were building up support, when they were doing rallies, doing intimidation, doing, Kristallnacht and all this shit, was communists. And who was right there to join the Nazis in fucking cracking down on the communists for being violent, for breaking the law? The liberals. Social Democrats. Okay? But yeah, it's interesting how this goes, right? It's communists, socialists, trade unionists, then Jews, right? And they, of course, made a concerted effort to tie Jews to all of these other groups: trade unionists, socialists, communists. Right? Judeo-Bolshevism was a common phrase. So, when people say Nazis were leftists, that's fucking laughable, because people will say, well, it was the National Socialist German Workers' Party, right? Isn't that socialist? Isn't that left? Ain't that left? You know who the German Workers' Party were? It was the communists, socialists, and trade unionists, motherfucker. And when the National Socialist Party, I'll get to that in a second, when the National Socialist Party merged with the German Workers' Party, they did this shit. They came for the communist, socialists, and trade unionists and fucking killed them all. The German Workers' Party, the DAP part of the NSDAP, was fucking gone. It was purged. But let me get this. Let me show you this. Now, people still say, oh, okay, but even if they got rid of the German Workers' Party, but like National Socialist was still what it was fucking called. I was like, okay, let's talk about that. Hitler interview 1923. National Socialism. I think this is Famous Trials. Yeah, okay. The American Monthly. I always forget the publication name. Mouth's kind of dry. All right. So all right. Sorry about that. Okay. October 1923, interview with Adolf Hitler by George Sylvester Viereck in the American Monthly. All right. This must be like this must have something cut out or something. But like, uh, this is this first little paragraph is quoting Hitler. It starts with a quote from the interview. We might have called ourselves the Liberty Party. I'll read that again. We might have called ourselves the Liberty Party. We chose to call ourselves National Socialists. We are not internationalists. That's very important. The Communist International was an extremely important organization that played a huge role in European socialism and Russian socialism. The entire point of socialism, communism, and Marxism is internationalism. Many of the, even still to this day, enduring feuds on the left are about the most effective ways to take the socialist revolution international. That's the whole fucking thing. Hitler says, we called ourselves National Socialists. We're not internationalists. Our socialism is national. Can he fucking make the point any clearer to you? We demand the fulfillment of the just demands of the productive classes by the state on the basis of race solidarity. So international solidarity versus race solidarity. To us, the state and race are one. This alone should completely put to bed the fucking Nazis are socialists and Nazis are leftists bullshit. All right. Asked to elucidate his program further, he said, we believe in the ancient adage of a healthy mind in a healthy body. The body politic must be sound if the soul is to be healthy. This is no less true of the individual. Moral and physical health are synonymous. Okay, so far, this is like, all right, like, sure, like, almost sounds like fucking like RFK Jr. shit or something. All right. Then we get to this. The slums, and the slums means the same thing to Hitler it does to us now. The slums are responsible for 9/10, alcohol for 1/10 of all human depravity. No healthy man is a Marxist. For being healthy, he recognizes the value of personality. All right, so this is, some myth of the individual shit. He's talking about the individual here. This is about the individual, about the individual and not the collective. And the value of personality is interesting because it's like he's kind of saying that it's all about the individual. He's also saying it's about him, Cult of personality. This is what it is, You can cry about Stalin all you want, but like there's the cult of personality of Stalin is the negative cult of personality built around the legacy of Stalin in the U.S. Stalin, I have a lot of criticism of. He's not my favorite guy. he did a lot of bad things, but like the way that we talk about Stalin as like a clownish, cartoonish, like just comic book villain, again, getting back to that, is ridiculous. And the because they had like fucking military parades or whatever in the Soviet Union, that we treat it as if there was a cult of personality around someone like Stalin. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not an expert on this history yet, but like, it's just all of that shit tends to be overstated in the U.S. All right. We contend against the forces of disease and degeneration. Bavaria is comparatively healthy because it is not completely industrialized. All Germany, including Bavaria, is condemned to intensive industrialism by the smallness of our territory. If we wish to save Germany, we must see to it that our farmers remain faithful to the land. To do so, they must have room to breathe and room to work. We must regain our colonies and we must expand eastward. There was a time when we could, and right here. We must expand eastward. Now, there's some space between Germany and Russia to the east of Germany, but this alone should have said to Stalin, don't make a non-aggression pact with with Hitler. He's coming for you. There was a time when we could have shared the world with England. Now we can stretch our cramped limbs only towards the east. The Baltic, which is interesting because they definitely went west. The Baltic, and they took fucking England. The Baltic is necessarily a German lake. However, we cannot expand commercially or territorially. We cannot gain. Oh my God. However, we cannot expand commercially or territorially. We cannot regain what we have lost until we find ourselves. It's a weird sentence. We are in the position of a man whose house has burned down. He must have a roof over his head before he can indulge in more ambitious plans. This is ridiculous. Like, this is, oh my God. And this goes to show how, like, this goes to show how fascism is just so full of shit. Like, it's just like wall to wall bullshit. But it doesn't matter, Weimar Republic, 1940. Wait, what? I don't think it was the Weimar Republic in 1940. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think this is it. Weimar Republic, 1921. He's talking in 1923, right? Hitler's not in charge yet at this point. This is the Weimar Republic. Now, what is he talking about? Like, there's no room for Germany? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, this is... It's as big as France. It's as big as Spain. It's bullshit wall to wall. Our demoralized party system is a symptom of our disease. What can the present government do? Nothing. It has no permanent support anywhere. Parliamentary majorities fluctuate with the mood of the moment. Parliamentary government is the spawn of hell. It opens the gate to Bolshevism. Bolshevism, Hitler emphatically continued, is our greatest menace. Bolshevism, Hitler emphatically continued, is our greatest menace. Kill Bolshevism in Germany and you restore 70 million people to power. France owes her present strength not to her armies, but to the forces of Bolshevism in our midst. The Treaty of Versailles and the Treaty of Saint-Germain are kept alive by Bolshevism in Germany. These are the treaties that ended World War I, which very much implicated Germany. The peace treaty and Bolshevism are two heads of one monster. We must decapitate both. Now, this is very Trump. This is very Trumpian, you know. Our German workers, Hitler said, have two souls. One is German, the other is Marxian. We must arouse the German soul. We must root out the taint of Marxism. Marxism and Germanism, like German and Jew, are antipodes. They're opposed. Here Hitler outlined his case against the Jews. The Jew, Hitler asserts, where are the quotation marks? Hitler asserts, is destructive by nature, unable to lead a national existence of his own. His presence in the modern state provides the ferment of decomposition. Oh my God. Oh, exhausting. So this is where fascism, Nazism, and Zionism come together. His presence in the modern state provides the ferment of decomposition. What would you do with the Jew? We would disenfranchise him, even if he is born in Germany, because birth itself is no sufficient qualification for citizenship. Also something Trump says. Citizenship depends upon a clear recognition, and J.D. Vance, of the duties implied in its rights. The Jews are not German. They're an alien people in our midst and manifest themselves as such, right? So this is where they all intersect, right? Hitler, Herzl, and Netanyahu all agree that, like, Jews should have their own country. Where are we supposed to go? You know, this is the ancient homeland of the Jews. State and race are one, right? The fact that a man is decent is no reason we should not eliminate him. Our hand grenades in the war, World War I, the Great War, made no discrimination between decent Englishmen and others. Netanyahu. Decent Jews will realize that it is necessary for us to protect the integrity of our race. I look upon the Jews, Hitler continued, as you look upon the Japanese. Both are an alien race. Both are an ancient people. Both have an ancient culture. Nevertheless, you in the USA do not admit the Japanese to citizenship. And here we go with Hitler and Netanyahu allowing or using U.S. history and even the U.S. present in Hitler's case here to justify their actions. Nevertheless, you in the USA do not admit the Japanese to citizenship. Yet the Japanese, unlike the Jews, are not a destructive force. They have ruined no state. The Jews had not ruined a state. This is not. They're not carriers of Bolshevism. They constitute no problem. Okay. And then mixed breeds lack vitality. Great, great. Okay. Another Zionist thing. We should forbid mixed marriages hereafter. We would treat the offspring of mixed marriages according to their desert. If they were patriots, we would accept them, although we would not encourage intermarriage with them. The issue that confronts us is one between Jew and Aryan. The mixed breed dies. It is a valueless product. Here we go, ancient Rome. Ancient Rome boys, arise. Rise up. Where are my ancient Rome boys at? Rome fell when it ceased to keep its race pure. Yeah, great, dude. That's a fucking scholarly read of ancient Roman history. In literature, in the movies, in science, the influence of the Jew is destructive. It's funny to say that in the movies in 1923. It's like, dude, movies have existed for like 20 years. What do you... We are like a consumptive tuberculosis victim, I guess. We are like a consumptive who does not realize that he is doomed unless he expels the microbes from his lungs. Nations, like individuals, are apt to dance most wildly when they are nearest the abyss. Hence, I say, we need violent correctives, strong medicine, maybe amputation. I mean, I might say similar things about fascists, but only because they say this shit about Jews, or Arabs, in Netanyahu's case. Now more than ever, we must differentiate between elements that make for weakness and elements that make for strength. Incidentally, no deed of violence against Jews is on record in Bavaria. Huh? Not even the windows of a single Jew were smashed by my followers. So I don't believe that at all, but it's interesting to say that given what would happen over the next 2 decades. Not even the windows of a single Jew. Yeah, when was the I always forget. It might not have been until like the 30s. Kristallnacht. Kristallnacht. Yeah, 1938. So it's a considerable amount of time after this. But there you go. No one, not even the Jews, can deny our honesty of purpose. We wish to purge ourselves from the Jews, not because they are Jews, but because they are a disturbing influence. Because they're Jews. What are you talking? See, this is the fucking, like, you think, like, fascists being stupid and incoherent is new? This is Hitler, man. This is fucking Hitler. He was not a smart person. Like, no one, not even the Jews, can deny our honesty of purpose. We wish to purge ourselves from the Jews not because they are Jews, but because they are a disturbing influence. What are you talking about? This is just circular, nothing, like... Jews are bad not because they're Jews, but because if you're a Jew, you're a disturbing influence. So that's Jews. Like, what are you fucking saying? So it is because they're Jews. We wish to reserve citizenship and a voice in the council of our nation only to those who are of pure German blood. Our slogan is Germany for the Germans. Foreigners, whether Jews or not, will be permitted to live in Germany only by sufferance. Define sufferance for me, because I don't know if that's about like suffrage or if it's, let's see. Absence of objection rather than genuine approval, toleration. Uh, the condition of the holder of an estate who continues to hold it after the title is seized without the express permission of the owner. Um, okay. Yeah, this is what he means. Absence of objection. So that's, I guess that's either, he could either mean the sufferance, the tolerance and absence of objection of Jews, that like, oh yeah, if you're a Jew but you like don't fucking get involved and don't like bother Germans in the business of Germany, then you're fine. Or it's like, yeah, if we're okay with you, if we're okay with the particular Jew, like, and there you go again, Israel. Because what happens when you argue with Zionists? A lot of the time, they'll say, "There's whatever, tens of thousands of Arabs that are allowed to live in Israel, Muslim Arabs, right?" Like, okay, what about the rest of the Arabs? Like, why do you keep stateless people cordoned off in Gaza and ghettos of the West Bank then? Right? Well, it's because there's a demographic imperative, which is exactly what Hitler's talking about here. All right. I don't know if we. Oh, okay. This is like a reprinting from 1932. This has the quotation marks in it. That's good. It also looks like maybe a slightly different translation. I just noticed here. He said we might have called ourselves the Liberal Party instead of Liberty. That's interesting. That's that, because those would mean very different things to us now. Okay, this part was important. This is what comes before the Liberal Party quote. Treaty, yeah, the treaties. Met Hitler. Why? Okay, why do you call yourself a National Socialist since your party program is the very antithesis of that commonly accredited to socialism? Socialism, he retorted, is the science of dealing with the common wealth. Communism is not socialism. Marxism is not social. Okay, yeah, see, this is why this is important. He's going, communism is not socialism, and Marxism is not socialism. So when people tell you he's the same as the Bolsheviks, it's literally not at all. Because the fucking Bolsheviks and the Soviet Union, even under Stalin, were ideologically committed to the project of Marxism and communism. The Marxians have stolen the term and confused its meaning. I shall take socialism away from the socialists. Right? So the Marxians have stolen the term and confused its meaning. Because socialism was a term in use before Marx. And Marxism is, and Engels describes this very well in Socialism, Utopian and Scientific, about how before them there was what he calls utopian socialism, which was just kind of like a a sense, like a vague idea of like what society could turn into, and sort of the idea even that the bourgeoisie would willingly at some point partake in the transformation of society into socialism. And then scientific socialism is what Engels describes as the Marxist approach, and what arguably Lenin and then Mao and Castro and Ho Chi Minh and all these people who came after put into practice to, you know, to carry out a revolution in a capitalist state, maybe a neo-feudal state, in a lot of those cases. It was them carrying out the science of Marxism, of Marxist socialism, rather than, waiting or hoping or kind of like carrying out in some idealist utopian way this transformation of society. It was no, like you have to carry out a certain set of actions, which includes taking out the bourgeoisie, because the bourgeoisie will take you out before you can change society. Socialism, this is Hitler again. Socialism is an ancient Aryan Germanic institution. Is that so? Our German ancestors held certain lands in common. They cultivated the idea of the common well. I don't know how to say that. The commonwealth, I'll just say. Marxism has no right to disguise itself as socialism. Socialism, unlike Marxism, does not repudiate private property. Oh, he sounds like Jackson Hinkle. He sounds like Haas and the fucking American Communist Party. Unlike Marxism, it involves no negation of personality. And unlike Marxism, it is patriotic. Patriotic socialism. This is such a good fucking article, or interview. Like, god damn, dude. I have to send this to some people. It's so good. Like, I don't know who this guy was, Sylvester whatever, but like he really nailed this shit, and this just got lost to time, but like I love this fucking interview. He just got the entire story out of Hitler just by like asking very simple questions. But anyway, that's yeah, I think that's everything from that. Yeah, I don't know. We got anyone? Got anyone in here? Anyone? Hello? I wanted to look at this dude's response to some shit. Oh, here's an interesting one too. Okay, so we're just gonna dig through this guy's this person's Twitter. All right, this person says, POTUS, okay, in quotes, POTUS/VPOTUS could not have stopped the execution of Marcellus Williams. This was the guy that was the guy who knew evidence had come forward in September, when this guy's execution was scheduled. It was in, I don't know, Georgia or Texas or something. But because it was, because it was Texas or the whatever southern state, the governor and the judge was like, fuck him. Like, it was just like the conviction stands. Like, he was fucking convicted. I don't care if there's new evidence. But because it was not a federal case, this was the response from liberals. Oh, they couldn't have stopped it because of blah, 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 blah. And it's like, bro, you're the president. Like, you're just going to stand there with your dick in your hands? No matter what happens in the States? Is that what Lincoln did? Lincoln thinks you're a little bitch. And there in a nutshell is why I'm not voting Dem. If the supposedly most powerful people in the world can't even try, won't even speak up, then what's the point? You can't win a battle you don't fight. Yeah. Which means they don't want to win the battle. You're clearly looking for ways to not vote for her, and that's fine. No, see, that's the opposite. I think most people are looking for reasons to vote for her. They're like, please give me something. We don't like Trump. Jesus fucking Lord. And the Dems just do everything they can to, No, they literally had no jurisdiction. There's nothing to try. Liberals in a nutshell. Shrug, what can you do? Just let them kill innocent black guys. Oh my God. Acknowledging that one person has no power in a situation while another, the state governor, does isn't giving up. Instead of being mad at them, be mad at the governor who refuses to pardon Khalifa, his chosen name, when he, oh my God. See this? There you go. There's the liberal. We use his chosen name here when we're talking about how he's being condemned to death, regardless of his innocence. We can be mad at both the governor and the people running for, like, this is the thing. It's like they don't have the jurisdiction. That's the problem, is that you're just thinking in these like very narrow terms of like, but this is the law. It's like, okay, you know what else is the law? The law is that if the law is that you can and you should and you have to overturn a fucking conviction if new evidence comes to light. Okay? So when this governor won't do that, when they won't participate in their duty under their jurisdiction, why wouldn't the people above him, why would the people above him do nothing in response? Like, swing that LBJ cock around a little bit. Oh my God. This is such a stupid. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Here, let me go back. I want to find. Here we go. I don't know. Feels like privilege to say there's no such thing as a lesser genocide. If you can't see how things can always scale up, you're lacking either compassion or imagination. Yeah, we lack imagination, fucking moron. Implying party that puts Ketanji Jackson on bench and party that puts Kavanaugh are the same. Come on. Well, you're missing how. What the fuck? What did I just do? Um, but this person's missing how they're the same. Like, um, what is it? Like, Citizens United. Versus FEC. Here. Citizens United versus FEC. So this is the decision that, you know, a lot of most people know at least vaguely. It was a decision regarding campaign finance laws and free speech under the First Amendment. Court held 5-4 that the freedom of speech clause of the First Amendment prohibits the government from restricting independent expenditures for political campaigns by corporations, nonprofits, labor unions, and others. Okay. Majority. Kennedy, joined by Roberts, Scalia, Alito, Thomas, Stevens, Ginsburg, Breyer, and Sotomayor. This was it 8-1? It's a little confusing with the concurrence and the concur dissent and the but the court opinion, yeah, it was 5-4. So the majority opinion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Thomas concurred with all but part 4. Sotomayor only with part 4. But like Ruth Bader Ginsburg was happy to vote with them. Kennedy, the swing vote, fucking voted with them. I'm trying to think of some other ones, but like, yeah, the you think Democratic appointed Supreme Court justices? Hey, Dankley, welcome back. Thanks for being here. But like, yeah, you think Democratic appointed judges never vote with Republicans? Like, they go, you know, they love to say this shit. Well, what about the courts? Oh, what about the courts? What about the courts? Like, I don't know, man. The courts surprise me sometimes. So, like, even if you can make some argument that everything's about the courts, like, okay, that doesn't mean that, like, that doesn't mean that the same problems of the Democrats are not going to transfer over to the courts. right? Implying that party that puts Ketanji Jackson on the bench and the one that puts up Kavanaugh are the same. Come on. Gaza is already flattened. The IOF is now raining terror on the West Bank and Lebanon. This is a month ago, by the way. Drawing our attention there while still slaughtering people in Gaza. They're preparing a full invasion into Lebanon next. They want to rope us into what's likely to blow up into World War III. Wake up. How they've lashed out against Iran. Oh my God. This is funny. Okay. Okay, but also no. LOL. There's zero chance Jill Stein is going to end the war. Now, you think they're going to say it because there's no way she'll win the election. Okay. But no. She may close so this person's assuming Jill Stein could win the election. All right. So she may close the loopholes Biden's used to send Israel weapons quickly, but Congress determines the budget. Get fucked. You can do whatever you want. You're the fucking president of the goddamn United Motherfucking States. You can say, hey, Congress, suck a ball. That we're not doing this. Suck a ball. I don't know what that was. Bibi and Hamas still have to come to terms. No, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you can say Congress determines the budget. Fine. But you're the president. Again, you can shut down a port. You can fucking close a highway. I don't like. You can do anything. You have the military, man. Antony Blinken was just shown to have lied to Congress to keep the money for those weapons flowing because if he had told the truth about Israel blocking aid, Congress would be required to halt weapons shipments. Technically, yes, by law. This is another, like, by law argument, but, like, Blinken apparently thought it was important enough. It was likely enough that Congress would follow the law that he had to lie to them. A Jill Stein admin won't lie to Congress to help Israel. That's a good argument. Without the weapons to keep killing Palestinians, Bibi the Butcher won't have much choice but to negotiate the terms of his surrender. God, it's just this like, everything's this fucking like Schoolhouse Rock argument. Congress determines the budget. Like, okay. Is that the beginning and end of the story to you? Fucking moron. What? You're a baby. Even Bernie voted for the NATO bombing of Serbia. Yeah. Right. So there's no guarantee that Congress is going to do the right thing either. But yeah, again, it's like, well, do you think Lincoln just sat there and was like, uh-oh, no Congress. Congress and courts don't like me, so can't do nothing. Like, no. Like, you think the president has no channels to, like, Congress? The president has no channels to, like, shipping ports and shit? Like, it's ridiculous. Okay. I keep getting distracted by other stuff. Here we go. They were talking about the rotating villain. Okay. So this person had a pretty good tweet, I thought. Carter could have codified Roe v. Wade. Clinton, Obama, Biden. How are people so stupid to think that Democrats want to protect Roe v. Wade? They showed us that they aren't interested. I mostly agree. And this person lays it out um, in terms of, when these presidents had majorities. Okay. History of Democrats refusing to codify Roe v. Wade when they could have. Jimmy Carter, supermajority 1977 to 79, majority 79 to 81. Okay. I thought that was the majority. I was like, when did we get like 6 more states? But okay. The years 79 to 81, Carter had a supermajority. Bill Clinton, full majority 93 to 95. Barack Obama, supermajority for 72 days, majority from 2009 to 2011. Yeah, and this, to be fair, because I think people will quibble about the supermajority Obama had sometimes, because it was like, okay, well, they had 60, and that is technically a supermajority, but they'll be like, people will be like, it's a razor thin supermajority. It's like, is it a supermajority or not, motherfucker? But like, yeah, it's like they had 60, but then like someone went to the hospital, or like, what's his name? Fucking Lieberman switched to independent, and then like something happened where it was like, okay, so it was like 60 for like a minute, and then it was 59, and then it was 58. And it's like, okay, fair. You don't have like a completely filibuster proof thing, but like, okay, so are you going to, are you not able to whip any votes? Are you not able to flip any Republican? And I know it's hard to, no one's been able to flip Republicans in a while, but like, I don't know. You have Barack Obama coming in with Joe Biden as VP, and then Joe Biden coming in 2020, and it's like, all we kept hearing is like, Joe Biden knows how to work with Republicans. Joe Biden knows how to get stuff done with Republicans. Joe Biden knows how to negotiate with Republicans. The bipartisan across the aisle, and like, okay, but you can't do that because we didn't do that. Okay, great. Yeah, no, the fact is that Joe Biden was just like a more conservative Democrat. That's why he worked with Republicans in the 70s and 80s. The DPVP. Does that mean what I think it means? Yeah, so it's like, okay, you had 58 votes, Barack Obama, okay. But the Freedom of Choice Act, he said, was the first thing he wanted to do. And then he didn't say, oh, I don't have the votes. He said, it's not my highest legislative priority. All right. And then Biden, I think Biden may have been, I don't remember from Obama. I certainly don't remember from Clinton, and I was not around for Carter. But like, I think when Joe Biden came in 2021, that was the greatest mandate we've ever had to end the filibuster. But it's like, I don't know if Biden even discussed that. I don't think he even floated it as a possibility. And you could say, oh, well, because they didn't have the votes to flip to end the filibuster. But we didn't even start the conversation because, like, a lot of us were talking about that. A lot of, I think Bernie might have been talking about it. Like, it was out there, but it seemed very personally important to Joe Biden to keep it. And then they fundraise for anti-abortion Dems over pro-choice Dems and tell you they don't support choice. All right. Yeah. First thing I'll do is sign FOCA. Obama after being elected. Abortion rights and law not a top priority. Great. Obama fucking sucked, dude. What a lame bitch. This is how. Okay. You're claiming any of these presidents had a Congress that could have passed such a bill because you people are really stupid and do not bother to look into these claims for more than 5 minutes of Google searching. Oh, this is Hutch. Oh, Hutch is such a fantastic moron, in the words of Norm Finkelstein. Carter had a supermajority. Cool. So show me the list of pro-choice Democrats. The answer is fuck you. The answer is make a deal. Do the fucking backroom hand greasing fucking big shoulder slapping deal making fucking under the table shit that we're told is how fucking politics works, right? Because now and then some shitty thing will pass and we'll be like, what the fuck? And Democrats are like, that's the deal making. You got to do it. It's like, okay, what are they getting? Nothing? Was 2013 when they passed ACA? I thought it was in 09. How did all of them fall in line to pass so many laws for Israel in a row last year? Yeah. And look, you think that okay. Answer me this. You think that if a Democrat was holding back, let's say Joe Manchin. It wouldn't be Joe Manchin, but sure, let's say Joe Manchin, the rotating villain, was holding back Israel aid in the Senate. Do you think that Biden would do nothing? Do you think that the Democrats would just be fucking silent and shrug and say, oh, well, guess we're not funding Israel? Get completely fucked. The ACA passed in 2009. There weren't 60 pro-choice senators. The Dems didn't have 60 in 2013 or 2021. Okay, how did the ACA pass? Oh, 60. Interesting. So the yays had it with 60 votes, 58 Democrats, and 2 independents. Who are these independents? Joe Lieberman, and I'm guessing Sanders Bernie. Okay, so now they say that one reason they couldn't get, say, the public option in the ACA was because Lieberman wasn't going to vote for it. Okay. So even if we just completely accept that, fine. Then there's some of the deal making we're talking about, right? Okay, fine, no public option, but we got to get this fucking healthcare thing passed. Lieberman, will you do it? Okay, so like, you telling me you can't do that? You can't make these deals? You can't whip these votes on abortion rights? You can't do it on fucking anything? There are elections today in Bulgaria, Japan, Lithuania, Uzbekistan, and Uruguay. That's cool. Can't say I knew that. Are those like national elections for all of those? because I would assume, that's probably why you're telling me. um, that's interesting. Yeah, that's yeah, national elections. Lithuania, Uzbekistan, Uruguay. These are places that every time I hear about uh, places like that, I'm like, what is going on in Uzbekistan? Like, what people are living whole ass lives in Lithuania. What is going on there? uh, it's wild. Um, yeah, it's just you can tell when they jump into action and when they don't. All the Stein voters acting like having a majority means that any and all legislation goes straight through the House and Senate. No, that's not it. Claiming that any of these presidents, right? But that's the thing. It's like, okay, then why do we have a Democratic Party? Like, Republicans do have these issues sometimes, but for the most part, they can pass a Republican agenda when they get into office. Congress could have passed such a bill because it's really, really stupid. And Hutch is such a moron, dude. Like, this dude, Carter had a supermajority. Show me the pro-choice Democrats. Pelosi and the Democrats were still campaigning for anti-abortion Democrats over pro-choice Democrats in primaries in 2022. Pelosi passed a bill to codify Roe in the House. It was blocked by Republicans in the Senate. Was it blocked by Republicans in the Senate, or was it blocked by the Senate? Because you have a Democratic Party that has zero interest in ending the filibuster. That is the reason Republicans can block it in the Senate. Okay. Oh my God. But Hutch aside, okay, who was this person replying to? It was a direct reply. So back to this. Yeah, here we go. So someone responded to the chart, the years here. What your little chart leaves out is that Biden's Senate majority consisted of one guy who was an asshole. Anyway, it could only pass reconciliation bills. Even Obama's supermajority was made up of a number of very conservative Dems who never would have voted to codify Roe. And see, I love this shit too, because it's like, okay, again, even if we just grant all of this, it's like, I don't think it's the own you think it is to be like, actually, our party sucks. Like, perhaps what you forgot to leave, perhaps what you left out of your little chart is that the Democratic Party sucks ass and has plenty of Republicans in it. Like, yeah, bro, that's what I've been saying. Election in Uruguay is particularly interesting since the Socialist Frente Amplio are expected to win. Ooh, nice. I like that. I like that South and Central America are having like another little socialism resurgence. Hopefully nothing bad happens. Thank you for following XBabe73 Sweet. We appreciate ya. Frente Apolio. Really hope the polio front doesn't win. Yeah, me too, man. But yeah, so this guy thinks it's a defense to say the Democratic Party actually doesn't support Roe v. Wade. And this our person here says always a rotating villain. Oh my God, there is always a rotating villain, conveniently keeping the Democrats from passing any of the progressive legislation they campaigned on. Rotating villain. In American democracy, when the majority party has enough votes to pass populist legislation, party leaders designate a scapegoat who will refuse to vote with the party, thereby killing the legislation. Yeah, Lieberman. Yeah, and I mean that's the thing because, sure, you can find a good handful of issues where it's like, okay, there's 8 Democrats who oppose this thing, but like a lot of the time it's 1 or 2. And it's just fucking. It's so transparent. Occam's razor, dude. I love this. I love this because it's like they're going, oh well, actually, this person was at this, and the only reconciliation, and then when presented with this, they go Occam's razor. Like, okay, Occam's razor. You're just saying like, but the simplest must be true. Why attribute to some nefarious mustache twirling conspiracy? Now that is just poisoning the well on something that you don't understand and just don't want to believe. What could much more easily and logically, logic now, we're talking about logic, be attributed to guys like Manchin being asshole conservative Dems who can only be elected in their extremely conservative districts by out GOPing the GOP, because that's not true. So I said, because they don't lift a finger to put an ounce of pressure on someone like Manchin to change his vote. And it's a BS argument anyway, because pro-choice ballot measures do well everywhere. And here's my man now. And for some reason, the Democrats can't use party discipline to force a bad member in line, even though look how quickly they mobilized to stop Bernie and censure Rashida. They don't want to pass progressive legislation. It's that simple. The Democrats have zero leverage over someone like Manchin if they hold the balance of power in the Senate. We have on record the year of Manchin withholding his vote on Build Back Better until they brought the bill down to a number he could live with. I guess you think that was all acting. I mean, maybe. The ACA, as incremental as it seems now, was a big step towards a more equitable health insurance system. No, it wasn't. And it cost Obama every bit of political capital he had to get the conservative Democrats on board. Passing the ACA tanked the Democrats in the midterms. No, it didn't. That's so fucking stupid. Like, are you sure? You sure it was the ACA? The ACA was too fucking leftist and it tanked the Democrats in the midterms. It wasn't like the bank bailouts. It wasn't appointing the cabinet that Citibank wanted him to do. It wasn't like getting fucking Tim Geithner and Larry Summers on board. Facts don't care about your feelings, commie. That's what I've heard. Yeah. Pretty much. It's political kayfabe. Like in pro wrestling, the sides pretend like they hate each other in the ring, then go out for beers afterwards. Yeah, to an extent. I mean, leftists are the dumbest people to walk the earth. When did Democrats vote with Republicans? Like, all the time. Republicans don't win almost every fight, but they do. Like, what fucking country do you think you live in? You don't know what you're talking. Okay, great. Did I? I thought I. Thought I said something else here. Oh yeah. So I quoted this. How do I see that? I'll go to my account in a second. But yeah, this. You know what? I'm gonna do another one right now. uh, what you're leaving out is what you're. Uh, uh, um, what you fail to consider is that the Democratic Party actually sucks too. Is not the own you think it is. Should I do an actually? I'll for good measure. Does zero research, screams their opinion, and calls people stupid, leaves. Actually, what you fail to consider is that the Democratic Party actually sucks too, is not the own you think it is. Yeah. My other quote of that was the hell? How do I? Okay. So same guy, same reply. I said, these quotes are hypothetical quotes of Joe Biden, basically. Hey, Manchin, vote to end the filibuster and codify Roe, or I'll send the DOJ after you and your stupid, corrupt daughter. Or, hey, United States, Manchin killed our chance to codify Roe. Or, I'm putting abortion clinics on federal land. Liberals aren't interested in getting things done because abortion clinics on federal land, like, I have not been given a reason why they can't do that. The DOJ thing, I've been told, like, oh, that's authoritarian or whatever. Like, get fucked. Suck my fucking dick. What are you talking about? Like, again, what's the point of having power? What's the point of the Democratic Party if when a Democratic president is in power that they don't fucking wield any power? And then the second one here I put because this is something that they generally don't say. Like liberals, you know, Democratic sycophants on Twitter will say it to you, but what you hear from even like AOC and shit, they'll be like, "Hey, well, they didn't do a vote on Roe, but like the Build Back Better, let's say, or the no, the $15 minimum wage. That's a good one, which I guess was the same bill. I don't know, but they'll go Republicans. Every Republican voted against the $15 minimum wage, and it's like, okay, interesting. That doesn't tell me anything. Because I was told with our 50-50 Senate at the time that they were trying to do it through reconciliation, like this person said, and they only needed 50 votes plus the vice president. Okay, so if you tell me not a single Republican voted for it, I'm going, Okay. Why didn't it pass then? Because I was told you didn't need any of them to vote. So that's the thing is like, go after your own, like, go after the person in your party who's causing this damage. If you're fucking serious about this, put a little heat where it's needed. I remember someone saying that on the political compass, the left-right axis determines how much you want socialism, and the authoritarian axis determines how quickly you want to have socialism. The political compass is stupid as fuck, but that was a kind of funny comment. Yeah, it's funny. I like that. But yeah, obviously it's reductive in the way that the political compass is reductive in itself. But yeah, it's just you know, we have a lot of authoritarianism from our government, and from governments all over the world that people will accept with without putting up much of a fight at all. But if you try to do it for raising the minimum wage or uh, no class analysis, yeah, true. If you try to do it for raising the minimum wage, just anything that's like slightly populist or leftist or socialist, then it's all, oh, hey, whoa, come on, guy, with your authoritarianism there. And that's the thing that separates, I think, the serious leftists from the unserious ones, which is willingness to, and I'm not saying this does all of it, but it's how willing are you or would you be to use state power? And the fact is, we live in a time of states, in a time of nation states. And if you're, too pure and too, too kind and soft to use state power for your political ends, then you're not going to get them. Like, ideally, do I want everything to be like a top down, it's in the way that a lot of the sort of worst elements of the Soviet Union were? No. And like, the whole point is that ultimately we want the state to go away. But like, I just don't understand what people think the steps in between are going to be. Like, what? We build a commune, we have a community garden, we do mutual aid, and then there's socialism, then we have anarcho-communism. Like, it's just not... Yeah, dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. It's it needs to be replaced. Dictatorship of the bourgeoisie needs to be replaced with the dictatorship of the proletariat. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Yeah. So, what else? Oh, yeah. Okay. So this might be the last thing I do, but for today, not in general, but I want to. Oh my God. Fucking Anna Kasparian, man. She's really going down the right-wing rabbit hole. I wanted to look at, and I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but I want to look at a little bit of Trump on the Joe Rogan podcast. There was this communist guy who said that Western socialists are very often too concerned with political purity and idealism. They want socialism, but only if it's perfect. Yeah, exactly. Like, Michael Parenti is the one who really like helped shake me out of that, I think, because um and we could kind of armchair psychology think about why that is. It's like uh, here's an academic saying these things. Here's an academic making this argument, and then for my like white leftist self, that's um what I needed to hear. Whatever. But like it's not just him, but Michael Parenti, the way he discusses the history of the Soviet Union and um, socialism in general, but he talks a lot about the Soviet Union versus the U.S. Uh, that's what I learned from him was like, yeah, I have a lot of like Trotskyist friends and stuff, and they're going to be civil liberties for the fascists. They're going to be able to have their newspapers. But yeah, I have Trotskyist friends, and I defend my Trotskyist friends. I'm on a podcast with them. They're cool guys, and like they are, I think, more open minded than like some of the caricatures of Trotskyists. The organization where I met them, they're more open minded than them, and so no shade whatsoever. It's just like I do understand that perspective a lot, but then coming to like a Michael Parenti, learning more from him, reading some Mao, all his shit, I'm like, yeah, I think it doesn't need to be perfect, because here's the thing, it may never be. That's the way the world works. So if we want to, uh, fight the bourgeoisie, if we want to take down the bourgeoisie and have a fighting chance for the fucking working class, like, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Life ain't fair, grow a pair, Karl Marx. Yeah, man. I wonder if it rhymes in the original German. But uh, yeah, and that's just it's such a it's such a problem that people are so. I don't know. I have been interested in the Party for Socialism and Liberation lately. They're running a presidential candidate this year. Um, they have the Boston Liberation Center. I think they also have one in New York. But the Boston Liberation Center, I'm really impressed with. I keep trying to I keep meaning to go to one of their events, but like uh, I'm really impressed with them because they have a fucking community center where they do stuff for people, and they have events, and they have a meeting place, and all this shit. It's like they are demonstrating the value of socialism to people here and now in real life in the current day. Like that is so much better to me than like you know like reading groups are important. Like study and theory and shit. All of it's very, very important. But like I don't want to just be in book clubs forever. I want to make shit happen, and that's what I see from them. But then people will be like, "Oh, but they defend Kim Jong Un. He's evil," and I'm like, "You don't fucking know anything about Kim Jong Un or North Korea." From my understanding, the two big socialist parties in the U.S. that work well is the Party for Socialism and Liberation and the Workers' World Party. But then again, I'm not American, so I don't know a lot. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of new to a lot of this. Again, um, I came to socialism in like 2020, and then I joined IMT, which is now RCA, but is the or RCI. It's RCA in America. um, but that's where I was for a long time, and it's very like they're Trotskyists. They're very like no, none of this has been done right before. We're gonna do it right, but we got to just like build up our numbers before we really try to do anything. And I'm like, but what about the stuff? We got to do stuff. Um, and that's what I see with PSL. Workers World, I don't know as much about. I know the uh, if that's affiliated with the World Socialist website. I know I hear a lot of criticism of them, but I have found at least some of their writing to be pretty good. Um, but yeah, I mean, look, I even will defend DSA for their for their uh, community work that they do when they're working on tenants' rights and unions and all this shit. That's great. I do think that running people within the Democratic Party is looks to me to be a dead end at this point. I understand why they have done it for as long as they have, but I do think that you're a socialist party nearing 100,000 members in the U.S. It's time to break away and like really try to stand on your own. But yeah, I mean, at least they're doing fucking tangible shit out in the world. But yeah, PSL, I'm pretty impressed with. And yeah, I'm just not gonna like I'm done like picking apart every little fucking thing about I mean, if we want to talk about like how is China socialist or whatever, like yeah, we could split hairs all day. But well, it's not splitting hairs. I should say like um but like China, if we want to talk about like is China socialist, what's wrong with some of what's China's doing now and all this stuff, because I think that they could be supporting a lot of the like Maoist parties in like the Philippines and shit, and they're not, and that sucks. But like I'm not going to be like, well, PSL said that they like this and this about China, so fuck that. Like no, I'm not going to do it. It's just like you're saying, right? You're a socialist party on the rise in the U.S. Time to split into 100 different parties. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nightmare. So like I'm at least getting like I'm where the wind's blowing a little bit with PSL. So I'm like, okay, good. This is a party that, I had never heard of. So that means that probably normal people have never heard of 2 years ago, but got a presidential ticket on the ballot in like how many different states? I think like not quite as many as the Green Party, but close. And I think that like a socialism, a PSL is better than a Green Party to me, because again, they do stuff and they're socialists. Two things I don't like about the Green Party. Yeah, I want to look at because like so Vote Socialist 2024, 121,000 followers on TikTok. Now, does that tell you everything? No, of course not. But like, does Jill Stein? Maybe Jill Stein does now. Okay, Jill Stein has about the same. China doesn't want to fund the communists in the Philippines because they don't support interventionism. They don't want other countries to interfere in their country, so they don't interfere. Yeah, and I get that. Like, they might get funding from North Korea. Yeah. Well, yeah, and well, I think to your argument, I think, um, China's everybody's biggest trading partner, so they don't they don't need to do, or maybe feel they don't need to do that stuff. Whereas, like, if North Korea is funding the communists in the Philippines, North Korea needs all the friends it can get. So, like, just a snap judgment, like that's maybe what I would pull from that. Um, but yeah, but that's the thing. Like, this is all stuff that we can talk about, and PSL can talk about. It's just that people will write them off because they're like, they support North Korea. I'm like, what do you, and what, what like, what's, why shouldn't we support North Korea? What, because Kim Jong Un is scary to you? Like, he's building a nuke? Like, it's just deterrent. It's just deterrence that people want. And I think that, while I'm not gonna, like, go super out on a limb to defend any, like, Black Panthers supported North Korea. Yeah, the Black Panthers were really smart. Like, I really wish people would look to them more than just, like, free breakfast program. Great, very good. But then people are like, that was good, but the rest was bad. It was scary. They had guns. It's like, okay, well, shut up. Yeah. But yeah, the thing with North Korea is, like, people just, no one in the U.S. knows fucking anything about North Korea. There's this TikToker, Madeline Pendleton, who's talked a lot about North Korea. And she has, like, a whole research document with sources about it that I really got to look into. I don't know how the communists in the Philippines are doing now, as their leader was unalived a few months ago. Oh, well, how about that? Yeah, I don't know too much about that either. That was just like, I think Hassan Piker has mentioned it. It's just something I've like picked up here and there. The Philippines, the Phillies. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah, it's weird when a country is plural. Like, what is a Philippine? Or is it actually, like, multiples of something called a Philippine? Like the Maldives? What is the sound of one Maldive? Nation states are weird. Also Karl Marx. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and when we get into look, here's the other thing is, like, I talked a little about Stalin earlier. I don't feel like I know that much about Stalin. I've been very interested in Mao lately, and frankly, I have read some Trotsky, and I like it. I like Trotsky. I think he's got good ideas. But the way that people are so divided about some of this shit, I'm like, guys, why are we fighting dead men's battles? That feels positively liberal, honestly. Like, I don't care that much about, like, I want to understand it, but I'm not that invested in, like, the feud between Stalin and Trotsky. I mostly want to do good things and not do bad things. So, like, whoever it is, I want to learn from the good and learn from the good and bad. And I think there's, on one hand, it's like, yeah, there's plenty from the Soviet Union that we would not want to reproduce. Sure. There's also, I think, a lot we can learn from them. Because people use Stalin 100 trillion debt as an argument against any. Yeah, absolutely. And even if we can talk about, like, the Holodomor famine or whatever, and it's like even that I don't think was Stalin being like, I'm evil and I'm going to starve 500 million people. Like, from what I've gathered, it seems like there was first of all, there were like famines every 5 years before the Soviet Union. So it might have just been the last one before, uh, single-handedly ate all the food in Ukraine. Yeah, exactly. Um, and then, I've learned some stuff about like Lysenko and shit, where it's like, okay, maybe Stalin just made some bad decisions too. Like like it's not like I don't know. I think people look at history and they're like everything was done meticulously on purpose in these specific ways, and it's like, well, they had dumb guys back then too. So I don't know. It's all like the history, especially aspect of it, is something I just feel like I need to learn more about. But yeah, I think there's. Oh, cool. Yeah. Do I have any specific questions? Well, I guess like yeah. I mean, I guess what is the Holodomor? Like what is the deal with that? Um, yeah, because it's not good, but it seems like there weren't many famines at all after that. So, um, but yeah, I just don't. The other thing people forget is that we it wouldn't if we did a socialist revolution in the U.S. The revolution itself and the aftermath and the time moving forward from there would not look the same as the Soviet Union because it's a completely different place at a completely different time with completely different circumstances, and that's what Marxism and historical materialism allows us to understand. And it's like, people act like when we say socialism, again, like the Stalin 100 trillion dead thing, it's like, oh, when you say socialism, you just want to do everything exactly the way the USSR. And it's like, no, I don't want that. And I couldn't do that if I tried. Yeah. Holodomor. Jordan Peterson tells me it's not good. Oh yeah. So, well, I don't know if I'm going to do the Trump on Rogan shit. Um, um, Blatt J Vig, welcome. I didn't know you're here. Thanks for watching. It was an actual famine twisted by literal Nazis into being a deliberate genocide. Right. Okay. You're right. We're not trying to recreate old. So yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. And again, that's what I've kind of gathered from um, uh, my rudimentary study of history so far. But like, um, uh, yeah, I mean, there's like I think there's good stuff Stalin did, um, and to the extent that the Holodomor famine was like, you know, Lysenko being insane or like uh, forced collectivization or whatever it was. It's like to the extent of any of that, I don't know. But again, it's like that's just stuff I want to understand. Kulak's burning grain. Yeah, so the Kulaks didn't want to collectivize. Basically, is that what it was? And then set it ablaze. Because I remember learning that Kulaks are similar to the Gusanos. Oh yeah. Ah, okay. Now I'm getting it. Yeah. Yeah, that okay. Um right. Cuz I remember I guess this was like a big part of the Russian Revolution was actually um the kind of the factory workers joining with the peasant farmers, um and what Lenin did early on was actually give land ownership to individual farmers. I think again, this is just what I remember, um, and that was maybe an improvement, but didn't you know do this like collectivization they ultimately wanted to do, uh, and then the strife that came from Stalin trying to do it uh, was blamed on Stalin. I guess it's my understanding. Um, yeah. Castro took my family's plantation. Like, yeah, good. That was the idea. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'll jump on stream tomorrow for this, but like I wanted to talk about Trump going on the JRE, the Joe Rogan Experience, and because it really like, it was such a fucking bummer, dude. And like, if you guys have like more answers in the chat, that I'll get back to it. But yeah, it was just such a fucking bummer because I used to be a Joe Rogan fan when I was somewhat younger. Oh damn, Dankley's like going in depth. Holodomor was the Ukrainian part of an already existing famine in the USSR in the 1920s. Okay. Holodomor is singled out because it was the worst part of the famine and because it's been used by anti-Soviet historians. It lasted 1 year, short compared, which ended a few years later. It was the last major famine, and yeah, that's what my understanding was. It was caused partly by bad luck in regards to crop yields and weather, but also actual policies like the collectivization, which caused kulaks to protest by burning grain. There was a misconception that they were rich, many were poor, wanted to keep the land given to them during the NEP period with Lenin. Another factor was that the Soviet Union tried to raise funding for the state by selling grain to Western countries before they knew how bad the famine was. When they knew how bad it was, Stalin sent a letter telling bureaucrats to send food to Ukraine. Oh. I mean, no, yeah, it's there's a lot of historical detail there that I need. But yeah, I mean that's sounds about right. But yeah, man, fucking so. But here's the thing about Joe Rogan. Now I'll give you the history of Joe Rogan. Like Stalin said when sending emergency food to India during their famine, paperwork can wait, hunger cannot. He and the Soviets had no interest in people starving. That's what that's what I kind of figured. Like, apparently when the Soviet archives were opened up after the dissolution, I think Hakeem on YouTube said this. Maybe it was Hakeem. I don't know. Might have been Mike from PA, but that apparently what the U.S. expected to find was like they were cynically, nominally socialist. Like they were talking about Marx and shit publicly, but not behind closed doors. Come on. And then it turned out they're like, no, like they were dedicated to this. They were not trying to cause mass misery and destruction like some other places. United States. Yeah. Communism intensifies. We can only hope. Well, not hope, act. Don't boo, vote. But yeah, so with Joe Rogan, man, like, it is so, like, I knew that Joe Rogan's gone off the deep end. I also know that he was never that great. Like, I was just a younger dude who kind of like didn't see through him as much, but also he has gone downhill. Like, when I was watching or listening to Joe Rogan mostly, it was like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, up until like 7 years ago. And the thing about Joe Rogan is he was like a skeptical guy. He was interested in like all kinds of ideas, right? It's all the shit people love to tell you about Joe Rogan still. And he just, he had no reverence for any institutions or ideas. It was just like, question everything. And, he was a little like counterculture almost. And there was a time where I would have said, like, it would be cool to hear Joe Rogan, interview any politician because he wouldn't let them fucking get away with shit. Now, again, I can go back and find, like, I've gone back and seen clips of him talking to like Ron Paul, like even before the podcast, I think, but where he slobs on Ron Paul's knob. But like, my point is, I just watched this guy who used to be kind of cool, and who I outgrew him, but he went way past me into some weird area too. And it was just really lame to see him talking to Donald Trump and just buying into all of Trump's fucking shit. Like, just talking to Donald Trump, like defending him, being like, I can't believe how poorly you've been treated by the media, man. It was coordinated, man. Like, it fucking sucked. So again, like, I knew he's not who I always thought he was. He's gotten worse over the years. I know he's a disaster, but just seeing parts of that interview, I was like, fuck, dude, this is bleak. Put a nice little cap on my young adulthood there. That's gone. From an economic perspective, Stalin's collectivization did a lot to industrialize the USSR, but it did unintentionally cause deaths early on. Though the NEP system, what is the NEP? Was far more productive with regards to agriculture. After the collectivization, agriculture output slowed down, and it slowed down even more so during and after World War II. Khrushchev promised to fix this, but failed, which partly caused the party and military to turn against him and pave the way for Brezhnev becoming the leader. Interesting. A new economic policy representing a temporary retreat from its previous policy of extreme centralization, doctrinaire socialism. Okay. Yeah, I've heard about this. Okay. Yeah. Program of redistributing large farmland to small farmers. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, that I've heard about. Oh man. Yeah, so I definitely don't want to do the full Rogan interview, but I might just pull up a clip of like Majority Report or something. Um, and I will say, I think it's a really stupid decision for Kamala to turn down the invitation. All right, they have not looked at it yet. No, I will not. Hasanabi. Crystal and Saga react. Crystal's okay. I fucking can't stand Saga. Oh, the epic rap battles. Awful. Did they like just come back, or have they been going for this whole time and I just didn't know? Godzilla versus King Kong 8 months ago? Have these motherfuckers been going nonstop for years? I guess so. Henry Ford versus Karl Marx? Why? Oh my god. This is so bleak. Okay. Now. Oh, they were touring? I did not know Epic Rap Battles was still going strong. It's more than expected. Okay. Yeah, I just figure like why not Marx versus like George Washington or Adam Smith or like I don't know. This is also 47 minutes. I don't want to watch the whole thing. All right, we'll do a quick one. Maybe I'll come back on tomorrow if there's like
hello everybody,
some better clips. Sagar, you look terrible.
happy Saturday. It's Saturday morning here, and we got the long-awaited Trump-Rogan interview clocked in at exactly 3 hours long. There's quite a few, let's just say the weave was in full effect for the entire thing. We both now listened to the entire interview. They ended up dropping it around, what was it, like 10 o'clock last night. It's got about 10 million views now on YouTube. So we pulled some of the sections.
I don't care.
Legislative approval to do the things they did, and they didn't get it. In many cases, they didn't get it.
What things?
Anything. When they
Legislative
made,
approval
like
of...
for extensions of the voting, for voting earlier, for this,
Right.
for all different things. By law, they had to get legislative approvals. You don't have to go any further than that. If you take a look at Wisconsin, they virtually admitted that the election was rigged, robbed, and stolen.
Oh, did they?
They wouldn't give access in certain areas to The ballots, because the ballots weren't signed. They weren't originals. We could go into this stuff. We could go into the ballots, or we could go into the.
He's got something. Their audio is not great either, but I was noticing this before too, because like, um, Ford is more of that mythologized capitalist innovator and job creator. That's fair. Because if it was versus Adam Smith, they would form a coalition to depose all landlords, and Adam Smith could finger Marx with the invisible hand of the market. That's what I'm saying, dude. I was just gonna say though that I was noticing this before on a different audio quality. Trump's got like something weird going on with dentures, right? Like there was something he did. There was like a call he was on a while ago where people were like, he sounds so like, and someone, some people were saying it might be his dentures, but just the way he sounds now, I'm like, yeah, I think that's true. Like this man does not have a tooth in his head. All that Diet Coke, man.
The overall. I'll give you another one.
Are you going to present
Well,
this
let me-
ever? Like, do you think like?
Let me just give you one
Okay,
more
go ahead.
before. 51 intelligence agents.
Should I stop it there? Because that's basically it.
Yeah. Are you going to present this ever?
And
Well.
he actually, so he came back to it twice. So there was more at the end as well that they went into. But I mean, I thought that was, in terms of that's the one mainstream media and others are going to be picking up on. And I mean, it genuinely it's a problem for him because what you see there is that even in a setting where Rogan's like, I won't even cut you off. Like he could just go into it. He's like, well, I still have to look back. I mean, look, I don't want to say this is like the entire interview. This is obviously 3 hours, but we're trying to pick out the most newsworthy bits here. And specifically also the ones that the campaign will try to highlight from the Kamala Harris side. And because this is a political vulnerability for Trump, that was, in my opinion, one of his weaker moments.
Yeah. I mean, it was also, this was maybe the most even like theoretically adversarial part of the interview. Most of the interview was just kind of like bullshitting about whale psychologists and windmills
I
and
enjoyed that one.
whatever. And most of the interview too, as you said, this wasn't the only place where Stop the Steal came up. And frankly, Rogan was like pretty sympathetic in most of the interactions where he was like, oh yeah, like it's just like Hillary totally denied the results. This is not unusual, putting the framing around, what you're doing, which involved fake elector slates and January 6th and, trying to get the National Guard to seize ballot boxes, et cetera, is just the same as Hillary, who conceded literally the next day. So the framing overall was very like friendly. He also, indulged a lot about, of course, the Hunter Biden laptop and indulged a lot about, well, of course, voter fraud is real and it's not.
Yeah, it's so stupid. All that shit is so dumb. Cool. Thanks for being here, Dankley. I'll probably shut it down soon anyway. But yeah, my wife's out of town, so I might do more later or tomorrow. So yeah, maybe come back to this or a better. Ooh, is that a Malema emote? Yeah, I guess I'll probably shut it down for today. I think this is not my favorite show anyway, Crystal and Sagar. So I'm gonna. I do want to do a little bit of Malema's great, dude. But yeah, I'll come back to this Joe Rogan Trump shit at some point. But I love communist tiny little pictures. Yeah, nothing. It's the best kind of tiny little picture. But I don't know if I'm saying it right. Blat J Vig Thank you also for watching. Hope to see you both back soon, and a is that a Kim Il Sung or Kim Jong Il? Blatchvig, Blat. All right. It's a Kim, and a Kim to you, sir. But yeah, thank you both for being here. I will hopefully see you back soon. Yeah, I think tomorrow I might be back on. So thanks for the info and for hanging out, and I'll see y'all next time. Oh, thanks for following.